You're listening to Heritage Radio Network. HRN is food radio supported by you. Learn more at heritageradionetwork.org.
This episode is brought to you by Wisconsin Cheese. There's a reason when you think of Wisconsin, you think cheese. Cheese is a huge part of Wisconsin's history and future. In Wisconsin, the state of cheese, the tradition of cheese-making excellence began 180 years ago, before Wisconsin was recognized as a state. Immigrants traveled to settle in this lush green hills of Wisconsin, bringing their cheese-making traditions with them. These storied skills, combined with the freshest milk available, created a cheese-making culture that is uniquely Wisconsin. Wisconsin's 1,200 cheesemakers, many of whom are third and fourth generation, continue to pass on old world traditions while adopting modern innovations in cheese-making craftsmanship. Find your next favorite cheese at wisconsincheese.com.
Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode of Pizza Quest. This episode was recorded on location in Atlantic City during this year's Northeast Pizza and Pasta and Bakery Expo. Over the course of 2 days, I got the chance to interview a number of luminaries in the pizza and baking world, deliver educational presentations, and talk to the judges at both the pizza and the bagel competitions.
So I'm Peter Reinhardt, and I'm moving around the Northeast Pizza and Pasta Expo. And right now I'm standing with Tracy Reniker at the Lloyd Pans booth. And we're going to talk a little bit about what Lloyd Pans is. For people who are listening who don't know, Lloyd Pans is one of my good friends because I use your pans to make my Detroit-style pizzas, and they're featured in the Pizza Quest book. So I'm going to ask Tracy here, number one, tell us a little bit about Lloyd Pans, but also then we'll talk about what differentiates the Detroit style. You've got other pans. You've got a Sicilian pan. You've got all different kinds of pans. Lloyd Pans has really become the primary resource within the pizza industry for pans. And so how did that happen?
Well, that happened with a lot of hard work from our employees. We started the company in 1986. We just kept growing and growing and branding and branching out and partnering with our great friends that are chefs in the industry as well as oven partners. And we just kept growing. Our product is very great with the quality is what we really talk about. We do everything inside our factory in Spokane, Washington. It's a 104,000 square foot facility.
You're saying you manufacture the pans, actually you do them yourselves?
Everything is manufactured in our facility. It's not only manufactured in our facility, it's also, we do all of the coatings, all of the anodization on all the pans. We have multiple different coatings. And everything is sourced in the United States, built in the United States, and we're very proud of that.
Well, that's kind of interesting because Detroit-style pizzas have become the rage the last few years, or square pizzas or pan pizzas in general. Sicilian pizzas have been around for a while. That's another kind of pan pizza. Focaccia has been around. But not everybody knows, including even I'm talking about sometimes and I go, do I even understand the difference, the subtle differences between them? But you have to know those differences to make these pans because you have pans of different heights.
Yeah, the different heights makes a difference. It makes a difference. The Detroit pans is our number one pan, actually. They have been, everybody buys them around the globe now. They have proven themselves with the quality, and the depth is the exact size that the chefs are looking for. It used to be
what is that depth?
It used to be part of the blue steel pan, but it's the, we make them out of aluminum, anodize them, and we put a proprietary coating on them. It's a pre-seasoning, so it's easy release. It makes it very easy for the chefs, so it does not stick in the pans.
And that's, I can vouch for that because the nice thing about your pans is it's easy to get the pizzas out of them.
Mm-hmm. And you can use metal utensils in our pans.
Oh.
It's not a fluoropalmer. You can scratch on them. You're not going to get any kind of flaking, chipping off. Like I said, the metal utensils are recommended in the Detroit pans or any of our pans that are anodized, hard anodized, and coated.
So you mentioned that historically, those pans were made from blue steel. It started the history of the Detroit style pizza is it came out of Detroit
Yeah.
with pans that were used in the auto industry, and they're heavy. They're heavy pans,
Very heavy.
and they're pricey to get those. But for a while, people thought you have to use those pans to make this kind of pizza, but you really don't have to use blue steel to get the same quality pizza out of it, right?
Right, and they found that out, and that's why they've got so popular because they're not so heavy. Blue steel was harder to find. They were trying to get them offshore. That was hard to find them, or if you could find them. Now, with the lighter weight and the coatings that we put in, more and more customers are finding that they prefer the Lloyd pans, Detroit pans, or any of the Lloyd pans, and they love the thought that they could get them anytime they want them,
Yeah.
since we manufacture in the United States and we don't have any sourcing issues.
And they're not as heavy. You don't have to worry about them rusting or anything
Yeah.
else. But let's get down to the nitty gritty of a Detroit pizza. So how tall is the side walls of a pan? It's not like a regular sheet pan or what we call sheet pans, which are about 1 inch tall. The Detroit pan has to be taller than that because so that the cheese doesn't go running all over the oven.
Right. They have a nice 2-inch around the border, and then they give that nice, when they're baked in them, they give that nice crunch, darkness that everybody loves about the
crispy
Detroits.
edges, yeah.
Yeah, and the nice cheese sticking to the side of it, and that. It's just a great pizza.
So it's
coming
only
out of
2
it.
inches. The sidewalls 2 inches.
And we can also custom any size, but the preferably is the 2-inch side. Yes.
2 inch, and then so Sicilian pans can be also different heights. What
Yeah.
is the typical? If somebody orders a Sicilian pan out of your stock, what would be the difference between that pan and the Detroit pan?
The Sicilian pan, it just depends on the size of the dough. Sometimes the Sicilian pan has more of a square size to it.
I've got one right here.
We do a lot of 1.5, 2-inch. A lot of customers just like that square, just a square. And yeah, you do have one.
Yeah, you grab that for me. So I got a Detroit one and a Detroit and a Sicilian pan here, and the Detroit one is more like a rectangle. They look like they're almost the same height. Are they the same height?
Yeah, they can be, and we can also make them. We also manufacture them to be a 1.5 inch, a 1 3/4 inch, 2-inch.
Depends on what the customer wants.
Yeah, and it depends on the customer's dough size. We do whatever the customer wants. That's what we're very, very known for is customization.
So that's pretty cool. So really, there's no rule that a Detroit pizza has to be 2 inches or Sicilian has to be 2.5. There can be different versions of these types of pizzas that people will make.
Yeah, they can be, standard. They like standard, but now we're finding customers that they want to go and do their own menu item. It might not be just a 2-inch. They might want it, less of a height or more of a height. So, again, since we manufacture in the U.S., we are known for a lot of customization of any size a customer wants. We're not going to restrict any customer for what they're looking for.
Are there any restrictions? I'm speaking now for home cooks, or a lot of home bakers now want to make these kind of pizzas at home, and they can get your pans also, right, direct from either from you or off the internet, like through Amazon or Google or whatever, right?
We have a great website, LloydPans.com.
Lloyd Pans.
Yeah, and you can buy just one. That's the best thing about Lloyd Pans too that customers love. They can buy one or they can buy a container full. We don't have a minimum order quantity.
But that goes to my question was, okay, so if you're using one at home and you haven't been working at a pizzeria, so it's new to you, is there a limit as to how hot you can bake them before they become damaging to the pan, or is there any threshold that you should stay under for these types of pans?
Well, no, we get that question a lot. If you think about it, you could put these pans into a 700-degree oven, but you're never going to get your food up to 700 degrees or it'll be ash, right? So there should be, of course, food in there. Your pizza or your dough is only going to get to a certain temperature.
Yeah. You have to have it. You want it to get to that temperature before everything else burns.
Yeah, right.
Or underbakes.
Right. So they are good for high temp ovens. But again, with the product in there, they're not going to get up to 700 degrees.
What do you recommend when people ask you, even though you're not pizza operators, but you're selling the pans for the pizza operator, what is a typical baking temperature for either a Detroit or Sicilian style pizza?
Well, usually the typical baking temperature is about 350 degrees. You know,
That's all, right?
Yeah, you know, and Peter, you're the pro at it.
Yeah, but I bake mine. Thank you. I bake mine at between 475 and 500 because I
Okay.
really want to get that under crust to get really caramelized and crisp. And but I found that for me in my home oven, that's a good temperature. I get them out in about 18 minutes.
Perfect. You know, and again, it's hard for us to tell each customer because everybody's dough is a little different. Some dough is like has more water in it, so we have on site a foodie scientist that we always say, hey, if you're having an issue with any bake you have, or you need to help with your recipe, we always have somebody right on site that we're willing to answer the phones or give a call to a customer just to help them along with what they're trying to do.
So okay, so you've basically got a helpline,
We do have a helpline.
and they just look up Lloyd Pans.
Yep, look up Lloyd Pans or email us and have a call, or you can go on our website and ask a question. We have a form that you can fill out, and we'll answer the questions back to any customer that's wants us to.
You guys have been, in the business now for about almost 40 years, 35, 40 years, but you've probably seen trends and things come and go in pizza. Just in the last couple of years, haven't these styles, these square pan type pizzas, exploded in popularity? Are you seeing big increases there?
Oh yeah, especially last year. During COVID, we just exploded. The whole business exploded. We were open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, manufacturing.
Really?
All year long. I think the only days we had off was the holidays.
Just to keep up with the demand.
Just to keep up with the demand. The demand was just very full.
What do you think's behind that? Why do you think this style has suddenly just caught on and become, the next new thing?
It's funny because I think the regional pans themselves have exploded. It's just a trend, and you would think that the trend would have slowed down, but the trend keeps going and going. Everybody just doesn't, anymore bake pizzas out of the Detroit pans or any of the pans. They're making, a dessert in them, breads in them.
Yeah, it's a pan. It can be used for a lot of things.
Yeah. So it's not just a Detroit. They're doing all kinds of different recipes.
I see.
And not just not finding that it just doesn't have to be a Detroit pizza.
Right. So they're versatile in that regard. But what do you? So I'm just kind of get my hand around the idea of what do you see coming? Yeah. For instance, a couple of years ago, you sent me a pan that was like super long but narrow.
Yep.
There. I'm looking at it right now. What do you call those pans?
Those are called their long pans.
Long pans, and they're about.
That's 24 inches. We got an 18-inch and a 12-inch.
And it makes a spectacular looking pizza that's great for a table, like for a shareable.
Yep.
Almost like appetizer-sized pizzas or whatever. But it's long and it's beautiful. I think as I'm seeing it being used in pizzerias now for if you bring in a group of 8 people and you want to have something cool for the whole table.
And those are fun because what goes on now is they're building a pizza in one, and they're building a dessert in one, and the breads in one for say, and then they're bringing it all out to the table, or they'll just have it for show with all different kinds of pizzas in the long pans, and then they're shareable, or they just send them by the slice. But we got the thought process on that. A lot of our pans they're new, we get a lot of customers asking, hey, do you have this type of pan, that type of pan, or it's different sizes, and we build to what the customer is asking for. So we're listening to our customers all the time, and trying to do something new and improve. We always want to continuously improve.
Well, that's what I was getting at is your customers are telling you what they want, what they need. So that's how you can tell where the market's going. What are you hearing lately? What's the newest thing that you're hearing for customers of what they're looking for or what they want?
We're still hearing the same. It seems like some that always went to a square type style people, now they want round.
Round is back.
Round is back, and that's really interesting because it was Detroit, but now they're going to more of a deep dish Chicago type style again. So that's what we've been hearing lately.
What about Roman? Do you have a Roman style pan too?
We do. We have Romans, and that is a great seller too. All of those regional style pans have been great for us. The Roman, the Sicilian, the Detroits.
It's a great time for pizza because there's so many styles that are emerging, and people want to try all of them.
Exactly, and again, they don't. We have a lot of people even have restaurants that use our Detroit pans per se for their lasagna.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And all the pans that we have, are very universal. So we have bakeries using them. A lot of.
You know what I really like is the little square one. What is it? Is it 6x6?
Yes.
I love that one because it makes a small little, almost like a personal pizza.
Yes.
But it's perfect for two people. It's like a great date pizza.
Oh yes. Now you're giving us some of your secrets, Peter. So.
My wife likes it too.
Yes, that's a very nice personal pan pizza, and that's been kind of a big hit for the show today. Is they've been looking at personal pan pizzas.
Well, there you go. That's maybe again an emerging trend. Is one of the first ones I ever developed of this style when I developed a Detroit style pizza for a client once. They wanted it to be. They loved the 6x6 because they wanted it to be a small appetizer pizza that would not replace something else on the menu, but would be an addition for their customers. Because there wasn't a pizzeria; there was the only pizza on the menu, and they didn't want an 8x8 or a 9x9 because that would have been a meal. But they wanted something that would be a great starter course in it, but a Detroit style pizza.
Yeah.
And
how fun!
And it's pretty. It comes out of the oven. It's very pretty.
Yeah.
There's something about a square, number one, and a small square that has a certain kind of a power to it. I think there's something about that shape.
Yeah, and it just seems so personal as well. It has a nice a thicker dough,
Yeah.
But we can't forget about flatbreads either. Flatbreads have been a big thing right now too. Flatbread pizza. I think some may think that carbs, taking out carbs, and they get a less cracker crisp,
So
a little bit less.
When you say flatbread pizza, you mean it's a thinner crust?
Thin crust and flatbread. Like
there a
cracker
pan for
bread.
that?
Yep, we have those.
What's the typical length for a flatbread?
It just depends. A lot of lengths can go up to any size. We have
I see so many different lengths here in your
the
display.
lengths are over here on our display.
Is that one there, the top one?
Yep.
Is that a flatbread? So that side wall is only about an inch, it looks like.
Yeah, or they're just flat. They're 3/4 of an inch.
Okay.
Um,
So it's just to hold it in.
Yeah, or some just get no rim, and it's just flatbread sitting right on top of it for like a cracker.
It's like
And it gives a really nice crisp pizza that people want to thin. And I think my personal opinion is sometimes people like looking at less carbs, right?
Yeah.
So
And
they want a pizza and they want to just have the toppings and not so much dough.
Well, we're seeing that even in the round style with the bar pizzas or tavern pizzas, which are thin crusted pizzas.
Yeah.
Again, so you feel like you're getting the pizza experience, but you're not having to commit to a lot of dough.
Yeah, and of course, people are more healthier watching as they think of the less carbs with less dough. We do have a bar pizza pan too, so
Can I see that?
it looks like a pizza shovel. It's called the bar pizza
Oh,
shovel.
I'm going to see that one because I'm hearing from so many people. I'm getting requests from people about how to make a good bar pizza. So this I'm going to describe this because people can't see this. It's got a handle side it looks like it was a pan that half the wall was cut away.
Yeah.
So that part of it, a good half or more of maybe 2/3 of the pan is just flat, and then the part that you can get your hand around and hold is like a 2-inch. Would you say a 2-inch rim?
Yeah,
1.5.
probably
2 inches?
1 inch.
And so it's kind of cool. What did you call it? You said it was like
It's like a shovel. It's called a bar pizza shovel. Is what it's called.
So it's called the shovel.
It's called the shovel.
And so that's something I've never seen.
This is
before.
something new. We just developed this last year, or this year actually. the first of the year, and we introduced it at Pizza Expo, and it's been quite a popular pan. Some people even are making sandwiches and using it for sandwiches and throwing it in the oven with the sandwiches. And they like it because it feels like it has a handle on it.
Yeah, it is. And so it's actually just like a way to convey the sandwich to the oven to like grill it or crisp it up. But I can see why this pan would be popular right now, especially with the proliferation of bar or tavern style pizzas happening. Then you just made their job a lot easier.
Yes. And again, they can even, some customers like it. They put it on here and they shovel it into their brick ovens even, and then they get it back out. So
you mean they'll slide it off the pan into the oven?
Yeah, and they can like shovel it back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like a scoop.
Yeah, it's like a scoop, exactly. Well, that's cool. I hope that we described it well enough for you who are listening to kind of get your mind around it. But it is like a round scoop with one side that you can get like a handle, and the other side just is flat to the and will slide right onto the deck.
Yeah, and they can go on LloydPans.com and take a look at it.
There you go.
Themselves.
Yeah. So you go to go to where?
Lloyd Pans.
Oh, LloydPans.com, and then take a look at this the bar style pizza shovel.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. So keep your eye on that. Well, this is cool because what I'm getting out of this conversation is that if I want to know what's going to be the next big trend in pizza, I should call you guys because you're going to hear about it before anybody else because people are going to be ordering the tools that they need from you to make it happen.
Yep. When the customers talk, we listen.
Well, that's good business. All right. Well, Tracy, this has been fun. And again, thank you for all you're doing for the industry. You guys you've emerged. When I first met you, you weren't the only ones making pans, but now I feel like you're the only ones that people go to for pans. So you must be doing something right. Yeah,
and we just totally appreciate our customers and of course you, Peter, for all of using our products, mentioning our products. So
well, you certainly helped me out a lot when I was doing my pan pizza book. With as I was doing the research for that, for providing me with pans to do the R&D with them, and I take them everywhere with me whenever I do presentations and demos. So it's nice to have that reservoir of pans in my toolbox there. So
we're here for everybody.
So any of you who go to any of the pizza shows, always look for the Lloyd Pans booth because you'll see what's coming next, and also it's a really cool booth. There's all sorts of pans on display here. I see you also got perforated like screen type pans, and I guess for people that want to not put it directly on the deck but still have that heat pass through from the deck into the pizza. So a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah, and we also have cutters and carts and racks.
So that I see a photo of a cutter there, and I think I did see one. So that's basically like a wheel around pan, and you can just press down on the pizza, and it'll cut it into
8 slices.
Eight slice cutter.
8 slices.
A tool for every need.
That's us.
All right. Well, Tracy, it's been great talking with you, and thank everybody at Lloyd Pans for your support of our show and also your support of the industry and what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate that.
And I will see you again soon. I think I'm going to come back to your booth tomorrow. We'll do a book signing right here at the Lloyd Pans booth.
Yeah, always happy to support you, Peter.
Thanks. Okay, so it's Tracy Reniker, Lloyd Pans. There's a whole team of Lloyd Pans people here talking to customers. I see your booth's kind of one of the busier ones.
Yeah, we're very busy here, and we're very thankful.
All right. Well, we'll see you throughout the show. And again, keep up the great work.
Thank you, Peter.
Peter Reinhardt at Pizza North. I'll have to give you the right name. The Northeast Pizza and Pasta and Bakery Expo in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Again, today's episode is all about pans with Lloyd Pans. Thanks, Tracy. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode. If you want to hear more of our coverage from the Northeast Pizza and Pasta and Baking Expo, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Pizza Quest is powered by Simplecast. Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. Keep in touch at heritageradionetwork.org/subscribe.